some really good information about how to deal with your zombie cells. Now, like I said before, everyone has zombie cells, whether you believe it or not. They don't want you to know that, yeah, you're going to age. You're aging. And some of those cells actually turn into illness, sickness, dis-ease, inflammation, and it overwhelms your system. And you're getting compromised every single day with what you eat, what you drink, when you go out in the air, what you breathe in. Everyone is being compromised. And so your body is being taxed, it's overworked. And if you're not putting the right things in, you are actually feeding the zombie cells. If you're not being considerate of how close to its natural state is your food, right? If you're not being considerate of that, you're consuming processed foods. And so your body has to go through the process of breaking down whatever's in the food, whatever's in the water, whatever's in the air, whatever's in the ground. Okay? So if you are a being who is electromagnetic, right? And you are operating in fields, are you following? Because you are energy, you are frequency, you are vibration. You're out here in the world, you're operating, right? But if you're compromised, that means you have a leak. So you're going to leak energy, you're going to have a compromise in your frequency, or you're going to have a compromise, right, on your vibration. So then when you walk in a room and your energy goes down, why? Maybe the electronics are running really, really high in there and it's altering your frequency. Maybe you have a mood switch. You can't get focused. You don't have clarity. You don't have enough energy to get out of the bed, but you've been asleep all night, right? You're compromised. You have leaks. And then you are a walking zombie now because you're not operating at your optimal state. You got leaks, you got breakdowns, you got a body that is no longer operating in the way that God intended you. Or if you just want to be as truthful as possible, you're not operating in a healthy state. You're not. And listen, as healthy as all of us want to be, we're all compromised. If you're here, you're compromised. Good morning, good morning. So I just want to acknowledge people who are coming in. I see people on TikTok. I see people on YouTube. How you doing, Justin, on YouTube? It's been a while. It's been a while. Thank you, Justin. I'm doing great. I am talking about zombie cells today. Zombie cells are the aging cells in your body. And what happens is it's going to age faster if you're not eating, drinking, and doing things that keep your frequency, energy, and vibration high. Can I get a like? Can I get a 1 if somebody understood that? If you're not grounding and earthing, which means if you're not stabilizing your energy, you're not getting out in nature, you're not getting good air intake, you're not getting out and you're having all the... Have you noticed that if you go to a moving body of water, whether it's a spring or a river, it's a very different air than if you were in your home or if you were out and about in the city downtown? Have you noticed the differences in the air? Okay, so we're going to talk about a micro circulation part of your body, right? On the micro scale. All of us can see our skin, right? We see our skin. But our skin is made up of cells. Millions and billions of cells are at work at all times right now. So if we just take everybody just take your forearm, right? If you just look at this as for what it is, you just see one arm. You just see one body part. And your mind processes it as if this is just one thing, right? But if you start looking at your arm in layers, right now we're just looking at the skin on my arm. Right? But if we go down a layer, I got some connective tissue down in there. If we go down another layer, I got fascia. Fascia is what makes the skin not have so much friction on the muscle, right? So I got connective tissue, I got skin, I got 7 layers of skin, then I got connective tissue, then I got some muscles down in here, then I got some tendons at work, then I got some nerves, right? Are we following? I got many, many layers to this one part. Think about your whole body now. You're one being, but you got many, many parts to this one being. And if it's compromised in any one of the parts, another part has to overcompensate. If you're following what I'm saying, that other part has to overcompensate to make sure it's still at work. Or you're going to have an energy leak. Or you have a frequency leak. Or you have a vibration leak. You don't know why you're off. Your mood's just bad all of a sudden. You don't know what's going on. You're walking out here like a zombie. You don't know what's wrong. All of a sudden, you just got a cough. You don't know. You don't know what's wrong. All of a sudden, your doctor tells you you have some blood issues. All of a sudden, some cells are compromised. You've been eating so good, though. You've been working out all day. What's going on? Because they have compromised. Yes, I want to say they, we all have that. Who is they? We all know who they is. Have you ever gotten a letter in the mail from your local water company? They're supposed to update you how many chemicals are in your water. And if you don't look at it, sometimes they slide some things through there, which says, oh, we had a high rate of what was one that was in the water? Some type of metal was in the water. And so there has been, for some areas, you can't even drink your water, but they don't really tell you that. Why do you think bottled water is such a big thing? I remember being a kid in the 90s, and it was a bad idea to drink water out of a water bottle. Am I aging myself? Can somebody tell me if they saw that? Thank you, Dr. Kiwanis. I appreciate yes, thank you. I've been really working on my skin regimen. If you can see it, my pores is getting a little smaller there. I'm gonna tell you what I'm using. I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm doing. But we got to get to a point first, right? We got to understand these zombie cells. So let me figure it out. Does anyone else remember back in a day where it was kind of not the thing to drink out of a water bottle? Am I aging myself? Does anyone else remember that? Does anyone else remember every fruit you got out of the grocery store had a seed in the middle? Anybody else remember that? I remember being a kid and we would get watermelons and I would complain about the seeds in the watermelons. Now I won't even eat a watermelon unless it has seeds. Anybody else? Is it just me? Oh, okay, Rachel. Hey, Rachel, how you doing? You remember that? All right, Miss Fidere, you remember that? I remember that. I remember when we used to go to the store to get grapes, y'all. Get grapes. It didn't matter. I don't remember green grapes growing up. I remember purple grapes. Anybody else remember the big, juicy purple grapes? And every one of them had a seed in it. And I used to complain like, oh my God, I hate seeds. It's so good. But I hate seeds. Now I'm like, I won't eat it unless it has a seed. Anybody else? Yes, purple and green grapes. Listen, green plums was my zhuzh, okay? My grandmother, she had a plum tree in her backyard. Anybody else's grandma had fruit trees? Now you go over grandma's house, ain't nobody got no fruit. Half the grandmas don't even know how to plant a garden no more. Talk about collard greens in the backyard. Nobody's planting fruits and vegetables no more, huh? We're all in the grocery store. They're mass producing our food. Do you know where it came from? Do we know how really regulated it's been? That so regulated they gotta use specific pesticides and herbicides, huh? Anybody else want to talk about it? So, no, the topic for the day is we got zombie cells in our bodies. We've been compromised. You can go out in nature and nature's been compromised. So the topic of today is we're getting rid of zombie cells because first of all, we're going to acknowledge the first part of it. We got them. You can't change something you don't know to change. Good morning. I'm looking for some likes. Now, I got some likes over here on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. Maybe I need to talk to y'all because it's like TikTok is asleep. I see you watching, but I don't see you liking. So am I talking to myself or am I talking to y'all? Because at this point, I'm seeing YouTube talking back to me. Okay, Mr. I'm an exterminator. Listen, an exterminator on my YouTube says I'm an exterminator. I see what goes on these farms. Talk to me over here on TikTok. We got YouTube saying, listen, zombie cells are in the food, the water, the medicine, the cosmetics. Come on now. We're getting rid of zombie cells, but we got to know where they're at first. They're inside of us. They're inside of us. There's companies out here that solely sell products that are not having the toxins and the chemicals. Here's why. Let me tell you, I used to work at an emergency shelter as a facilities director, okay? And I did my own little test within the facility. One of the things that I liked was let me start with saying what I don't like first. I don't like the smell of toxic chemicals. It does something to me on my own personal note, right? So I had got some products that had non-toxic on the bottle, right? And I worked with kids that are between the ages of 5 and 18 who have real life behavioral problems, meaning they will look you up and down and be ready to square you up if they feel the twinge. Not necessarily saying you gave them a reason, but they was ready to be froggy just to be froggy. Those kind of behaviors, right? And what we would do is we would clean up, and I started bringing in non-toxic chemicals. Let me tell you, I've never seen kids excited to clean up before. They were interested in pouring the non-toxic in the bottle and adding water. It was simple. They were excited about it. And guess what? They didn't have agitation. But when my director brought back in toxic products, the kids got back anxious. They got back rowdy. They got back irritable. Toxins, they stir up zombie cells in you. They age you. And they age you in a way that you don't necessarily want to be aged. They have your body responding in a microcirculation on a real microcosmic quantum level. They have you responding in ways that you don't even realize that you're just amped up all of a sudden, or you can't focus, or you can't even sleep at night. Are we following? So, y'all know I don't get on here and sell nothing, right? I don't get on here and sell anything, and that's not what I'm doing today. But I want to tell you this right here. This right here. This is called iHercules. This is a microcirculation cellular cleaner. It's 44 plant extracts. This gets into your body on a cellular level, and it begins to take off the toxins that have been attached to your telomeres. Do you know what telomeres are? That's the part of your DNA, that's the caps on the end. When the caps on the ends of your cells begin to break down, they can't send messages and they can't receive messages clearly. That's when they become zombie cells. They go on a rogue. That's when your body begins to get overstimulated by toxins, and the cells can't talk to the other cells clearly enough for either your white blood cells to start getting rid of an infection. They don't talk to each other. They don't talk to each other right. To say it in layman's terms, the cells don't communicate well because the caps are aged all of a sudden, because you might have had plastic in your juice. You might have had plastic in your meat. You might have had some kind of red color dye in your candy. And now your cells can't communicate with one another. So then all of a sudden you begin to age in a way that you hadn't aged before. Your body begins to rot, and it begins to break down in ways that it had never broke down before. Exactly, PFOA, Teflon for non-sticking pans. It affects the cells in our immune system. Thank you for sharing, Miss Fadair. I hope I'm saying that right, Fadair. The pans we cook with matter. Some of them can only take so much heat, and then it changes the structure of your food on a cellular level. So then by the time you consume it, it has no nutritional value. Are we following? Thank you on YouTube. Thank you. I see it. I see it. Thank you. I thank you guys for joining. We're talking about zombie cells today and how to get rid of them. We're going to clean our cells, and we're going to clean it on a blood level. Yes, this right here, we're cleaning it on a blood level. Let me put this in here. Let me see what I can do. Give me a second. Let me turn some music on. Give me a second. I'm going to post on this YouTube here. We're talking about zombie cells. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining over here. Welcome, Coco. Welcome, Joan. Welcome, Ron. Thank you for joining today. Who else is here? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, NLN Jules. Thank you for joining today. We're over here on YouTube. We're over here on TikTok. This is my first time going live on both in this kind of way and seeing all the messages kind of pop up. I want to make sure I add a new message over here on my YouTube. I'm going to post pin a message here. All right. So yes, zombie cells, it's in the food, it's in the water, it's in the cosmetics, it's in everything. Have you guys heard that it's even in the clothes now? Depending on what color and what company you're buying from, and it depends on where they get their dyes from. Have you heard that? Hey, how you doing, Wakina? How you doing, David? Come on in, join the room. Come on in. I see you over here on YouTube. Welcome, welcome. Have you heard that? Depending on where you get your clothes from, and also what color your clothes are, it can affect how your skin absorbs. Yes, yes. I knew I wasn't the only one. And it affects our mental health. TikTok, you guys know me to talk about mental health a lot. We talk about our trauma, releasing our childhood trauma. We talk about having a transformative life. Yes, clothes as well. Yes, certain jeans, they have colors in them. And it can alter you on a cellular level. Your skin is the biggest absorber that you have. It's a bigger absorber than your lungs. Your skin is always taking in and letting off. That's your cooling and your warming. Like, this is your skin is a suit. So it can absorb. It processes. You're in environments. You're not just your physical being. Can we acknowledge that? Hey there on TikTok. Can we acknowledge, hey there on YouTube, can we acknowledge that we're not just physical beings? Can we acknowledge that? Can I get a yes from somebody? You're more than your physical self. You are a multi-dimensional being yourself. Can we acknowledge that? Yes, I'm a multi-dimensional being. Can we acknowledge that? That we operate in more than one field. We're physical, right? We're spiritual, right? We're etheric. We have emotions. Can we all acknowledge that? Well, what happens when one of your systems are off? It affects how you function in the world. Your productivity. Anybody else following that? Can we acknowledge that we are so much more than what we see? How you doing? I see you over there. I see you. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you. So let me talk about this for a minute, because this is kind of what has encouraged me to go live today. So this is iHercules. I'm not savvy with these systems quite yet, but I'm going to put up a video. So in November of 21, the very latter part of the year, just about a week before Thanksgiving, I called myself trying to be super cool, and I was on a health journey, right? And part of my health journey led me to start doing yoga. And then I got so, I called myself trying to be so much more advanced that I started doing Boga yoga. And Boga yoga was at my local YMCA. And Boga yoga is basically where you're doing your traditional yoga poses, but you're on the water, right? And I was cool, y'all. I was in my fourth class. That means I felt very confident in myself, right? I felt extremely confident that I'm like, all right, So I have a lady that's off to my right here who's extremely advanced in yoga, right? She can do all the hard poses without wobbling. But see, when you're on water and you're on a boogie or is a boogie board, right? Your balance has to be A1. Your core has to be right. Because if your core ain't right, you're going in the water. Well, the instructor told us the first rule of the game was fall gracefully. So if you're going to fall like you're supposed to fall. Go with it. Don't fight the fall, because if you fight the fall, you might hit the water and be hurt. Okay? So I'm on the boga, and I just want to tell you guys how I got to this, okay? So I'm on the water, and like I said, your girl is in her third, fourth class now. I've been doing yoga for a while, and I got bold enough to say I'm going to do yoga on the water, on a boogie board. Well, the assignment is you have one person, every other person staggered. One person's going to rock their boogie board, and the other one has to do the yoga poses off to the side of them. And it's like you got some waves going. And the stronger and tighter your core is, the better you're supposed to do your pose and stay on the boogie board. Well, it was my turn first to do the waves. So I'm waving. I'm having fun, y'all. It's like I'm a kid again, right? I'm doing the boogie board. I'm rocking it. And I don't know, maybe the lady on the side of me thought that I was trying to be a little funny, but I wasn't. I was having a good time. I was enjoying myself. So I'm rocking the boogie board, and she's doing her poses, and I'm looking at her like, yeah, girl, you doing so good. I'm inspired. Because remember, this is my third or fourth class, and I'm really getting into this whole thing about I'm on a boogie board doing yoga in a pool. I think you don't see too many black folks in the pool, let alone seeing them on a boogie board doing yoga. I felt like I was having the time of my life. This is exciting. I'm doing something new. I'm doing something for myself, my health. I'm living a new life, right? I'm doing good. I'm losing some weight. I'm excited about myself. Just hold on. I'm going to tell the story. So I'm doing my boogie board, and it's going side to side, and the lady over here is doing A1 poses for her yoga. She is an instructor, is having a moment because she's good. Well, it's her turn to rock her board, and it's my turn to do some yoga. And I come to the realization real quick that I wasn't advanced. I came to my senses real quick to remind myself that I'm a novice. Here's why. I'm going into a pose, and I go face first into the water. Face first. Now, the things that I do remember is fall gracefully. Do not fight the fall, because if you fight the fall, you may hit a wall. I remember that. If you fight the fall, you may hit a wall. I remember that. My face, however, didn't receive that. The water, how I hit the water went so far up my nose. The pressure of it broke the blood-brain barrier, and I had a bruise, which is called a hematoma, under my eye here. The pressure was so intense that the fluid came above my eye, and it sat right here on my forehead. My face hurt like someone hit me with a bat. Turns out I had a concussion, and if you haven't seen any of my videos on YouTube, if you haven't seen any of my videos on TikTok, I'm a massage therapist. I was a massage therapist then. When you don't have good function of your body, of your arms, if you don't have good function, you can't give anyone a good massage. So what would happen is I would feel like I was being electrocuted because the pain was so intense from the pressure being on my skull and the pressure being on my spinal here from the fluids. It was bulging. It was pushing fluid. And the doctors say, well, we can't really do anything for you but give you some pain medicine and let the hematoma heal on its own. When you're in pain and you don't know how to function because your job is physical, what do? So I had the bright idea that I'm going to open up my own hematoma. I know, sounds crazy, but the pain was so intense that I was like, I gotta figure, if you get to a certain level of pain and you don't want to take pain medicine, the only thing you can think of is that you want the pain to stop. one way or the other. Yeah, that kind of way. You want the pain to stop. My face literally looked like I hit a wall. I had swollen face. I went and looked at a video last night of this face that I had, and it reminded me of, if anyone remember, I'm gonna age myself for real now. The Beauty and the Beast. Yes, a concussion and a hematoma, which means you have a bleed under the skin. It's a bruising that's flooding. The fluid is flooding. So I looked like, back in the day, there was a TV show called Beauty and the Beast, and there was a beast who was a lion that lived under a bridge. I looked like the guy that lived under a bridge. My face was so swollen, my nose bridge. It was just, it was a weird look for me. My friend calls. So let me back up a little bit. There's two things that I found out dealing with pain. Pain, you are an electromagnetic system. Your nerves, they are connected to the ground. You have to ground. To get rid of pain, you have to ground. That means you need to be out in nature, and you should be out in nature with your shoes off. The best way to get grounded in nature is to get to the nearest body of water that moves and it has large trees around it. It is painful. It was very painful. It was extremely painful. So painful, it affected my mental health. That is how I got here. That's how I'm doing these videos. I just never pushed a product. It was extremely painful. I'm going to share with you how to get rid of zombie cells, which is how to get rid of the aging by turning and activating your cells back on. How to get rid of inflammation. This is how you turn your cells back on. This is what they don't want us talking about on these social media platforms, how to heal yourself. They don't want us talking about how to get rid of zombie cells. They don't want us talking about how the food, water, the air, and the ground, the earth is not clean. We can talk some more about that. They don't want us talking about that. But the bigger part of it is they don't want you talking about how to heal yourself, because then you will realize who you actually are and what your limitations and non-limits, your non-boundary, how far you really can go. They don't want you understanding that if you left your country, you have access, right? You have access to more resources, networking, and opportunities. They don't want us talking about that. So let's talk about the core of it all, how to heal yourself first so that you can have a better function in your mind. How to heal yourself first so you can have a better function in this physical body. How to heal yourself first so that when you go out here into the community and you're talking to children, you're talking to the elderly, you're talking to families, you're talking to anybody else, you're talking to people with your right mind. Oh, can we talk about it? You get out in nature, you get moving body of water, big tree. That's all you need to remember. Moving body of water, big tree. Take your shoes off and go get on the roots of the tree. If you hear me, hit the like. If you hear me, hit the heart. If you're hearing that, how to get rid of pain, get out in nature, get near body of water, big tree. That's it. That's all you need to remember. Why? Because you're on a frequency. You are a transmitter. You send and receive signals all the time. But if your cells are compromised, you don't send and receive well. You may not get the transmission very clearly because your cells have been compromised. Your mind cannot comprehend or conceive too many operations at one time. Some people can only function listening to one station at a time. You got to touch grass, but touching grass, it's deeper than that. You need to lay in the grass and you need to go put your feet on trees. That's why they call them tree huggers. You got to get your feet on the trees. Let's talk about how your body processes. Your left is your receptor. Your right is your giver. That's why when you see a boxer, they block with the left and you give your best hook with your right or your strongest hand. That's why when they talk about when you want to get money, you get it with your left hand. You you receive it with your left. You give it away with your right. So on an energetic level, that's how you know who you are. You're going to receive. You take in energy on your left side. So your left foot on the ground is your receptor side. Your left hand is your receptor side. Your right side, your feet, the energy is going back down into the ground. And with your hand, your energy is going out. So you're on a circular, you're on a loop. Let's look at what these comments say. Mr. I need to see if I have something similar around where I live and give it a try. Yes. Yes. Let me also talk about your intake of air. Breath work is so essential. You want to get rid of some zombie cells? Start doing some breath work. Let me start telling you how you can do some breath work. You want to turn the switch on in your brain. Start breathing properly. Breathing properly means you're inhaling through your nose and you're blowing it out through your mouth. Why? The inhale through your nose, you have a cavity that's in your head. That cavity, it takes in air. It's going to do it on such a fast, it happens so fast, y'all. That's why you want to slow down your breathing. When you take in air, I'm talking now, so I'm holding my breath as I speak, but when it goes into this cavity here, in microseconds, it's pulling the chemicals out of the air. It's a filter in there. The first thing, it takes the purest. It's going to go to your brain and to your lungs. That's why you want to take long, deep breaths. When you inhale, you want to inhale for at least 3 to 4 seconds at a time, not 1 second. Some people breathe so fast. If you're a smoker, you breathe really fast. If you're a drinker, you breathe really fast. If you're overweight, you breathe really fast. You're compromised. So if you really want to breathe properly and correctly, you want to have a very slow inhale. I have a 5-3-5 method that I talk to my clients about when we start massages. I also have an oxygen bar. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I have an oxygen bar. The first thing we talk about is how to properly breathe. You want to inhale 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You want to breathe in, inhaling for 5 seconds. You want to hold that breath. You want to hold it anywhere between 3 to 7 seconds. I have people inhale and hold it for 3 seconds. Why? Because I don't want anybody to panic. If you have not ever did practicing of breath work, you will drive yourself almost to a hallucination if you try to do cycles too fast and you are not ready and you are overwhelmed. You do not want to do a 15-second inhale, and you don't want to be doing a 7-second hold and then another 8-second exhale, and then your body is thinking it is suffocating. Because guess what? There are monks out here that only take inhales and exhales in a cycle 4 times in a minute. And you have some people who can't even do an inhale, hold, and exhale over the matter of 3 seconds. They breathe too fast. You ever been around somebody breathing all fast? They sick. You right? Anybody else recognize that when people breathe fast, they sick? Now, that's one of the things that irritate me sometimes. I'm being nice. I'm for real. I'm being nice. But you ever been around somebody be breathing so hard and so heavy and so fast, and you be like, God, dog, God, breathe. Slow down. You don't take up all the air. I know, but can we be real for a second? That's a zombie. The Walking Dead. I'm gonna tell y'all now, my guilty pleasure, sometimes I watch, Bulls. Yes, Bulls. Sometimes I watch 600 Pound Life. Why? Because I was at one time 293 pounds. Yeah, I said it. I was 293 pounds. And sometimes I watch my 600 Pound Life to remind my black, don't you ever let yourself get to that point where you think that you have no responsibility and accountability to what you put in your mouth. Okay, I had to say it. Sorry. I watch that show for that reason, for my own accountability. Don't you ever slip up. Because if you get back to being a big body like that, why is you breathing so hard? And it ain't because you hungry. You ate enough. It ain't because you thirsty. You probably been drinking the wrong thing in the first place. It's because you have let your cells get compromised. And you have lost the battle with your mind. Yeah. Let's be real. Can we talk real for a second? Let's quit fantasizing and dramatizing, whatever the word is. Let's quit making our trauma seem so freaking fancy. Let's just be real with it. At a certain point, people just chose to get lazy and people choose to be irresponsible with their choices because all of us got the same 24 hours. All of us have the same access and opportunities. I don't care. Yes, some people have food that is a little bit more expensive than others. If you are in certain areas, yes, when you walk into the store, what you're looking for and what I look for where I'm at may be two different prices. So yes, we are all functioning at some varying levels, right? We are. But I want to tell you now, if you make it a point and an intention to be as intentional about your health and as your life as you can possibly be, welcome. We talking about zombie cells today. If you can be as intentional as possible about your life, I promise you that you will start redirecting how your body functions, not just on the whole scale, but on a micro scale. How your body breaks down these chemicals and these foods, it will be on a whole nother level. Let me tell you, we're going to get back to this. So what we do, we talked about, you can get out here grounding and earthing. Get out there moving water and big trees. Put your feet on the ground. Lay on the green grass. Go lay on it. Get all up in it. What's another thing you can do? You can sun gaze. Oh, now that's the one they don't really want us talking about. Because let me tell you. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm on my Wi-Fi. Yes, I am. Let me make sure I'm on my Wi-Fi. It told me that my live wasn't really going. Okay, we straight. We over here. If you can hear me, put a 1 in there. If you can hear me, put a 1 in. For real. If you can hear me, put a 1. Because I'll keep going as soon as I see my first one. I'll keep going. I want to tell you, there we go, Miss Fidel. Thank you. I want to tell you about sun gazing. I want to tell you about sun gazing. TikTok, can I get a 1? I'm going to go over here on this YouTube and stay focused because I see you, but I don't see you. Can I see you back? Can we look like at least a halfway somewhat kind of conversation? Can I get a 1 off of TikTok, please? Can I get a 1? Somebody. Y'all see these. Hey, how you doing, Jacqueline? How you doing, Garth? How you doing, Mary? I see you coming in. Shasha? Shay. Hey, girl. How you doing? I apologize if I messed that up, but I see you. How you doing? I acknowledge you. Thank you for being here this morning. I want to talk to you. There we go. I got some 1s. All right. Here we go. I'm going to keep going. So we're going to talk about sun gazing. Sun gazing. Now, they tell you, do not stare at the sun, right? Ain't no zombie staring up at the sun. If you know anything and you can recognize people, if you see somebody looking up at the sky, please understand that they are conscious and they are aware. Okay, so here we go. They don't want you sun gazing because you can send and receive messages to and from the sun. They don't want you moon gazing because you can send and receive messages from the moon. Okay, we're not even going to talk about if they walked on the moon or not. And we're not even going to talk about what's up there on the moon or not. If you know what light sources you're looking at and you know how energy actually works and you know what vibration you are on, you know that when you sun gaze, you are sending and receiving messages, right? Does everybody know that, or does anybody not know that? So the rule of thumb is never look at the sun when it is above 33 degrees. Everybody still here? I know, right? Nothing's going away. So if you are staring out, let's say it's morning time, or let's say it is sunrise, right? They tell you on your phone what time sunrise is. Remember, they got to tell you, even though you may not know what you're looking at. They got to tell you what time sunrise is, and they got to tell you what time sundown is, because they put us on a time clock system. We are now on a calendar that we typically, or our ancestors didn't use at a point. Our ancestors used the sun, the moon, and the stars. They used the waterway. Oh, am I talking to somebody? Okay. Miss Fidere says she never heard that. So I'll back it up a little bit. I'm going to back it up for you. It's okay. Anybody else on TikTok, have you ever heard about your ancestors or tribal or ancient or indigenous societies, peoples, groups, using the sun, the moon, and the stars as their clock? Anybody else ever heard that? Okay. So before, there was this digital thing that we really all had called clocks, even on an analog way. We had a system of, how do you know what time it is? Well, we didn't really operate in the way that we operated, or beings didn't really operate in the way that they operate now. They operated on a system of when the sun rose and when the sun went down and when the moon was in certain stations in the sky, they knew what time it was. And so if you are able to get out, especially early in the morning, that's usually the best time, sunrise. That's when it's brightening and it's going higher on the horizon. If you look at the sun and you look at the sun before it gets to 33 degrees, then you see the sun on a different plane or on a different wavelength than you would see the sun when it's past 33 degrees and it's high up in the horizon. It's the same as the pull of the earth and the magnetic pull of the earth. The moon has a stronger pull at nighttime than it does in the daytime. That's why you can have high tide and low tide in the day and in the night. Anybody else follow me? Okay, so you, as a transmitter system that has the ability to send and receive messages, also functions in a electromagnetic way, being that you have electrons and protons coming in and out from the sun. If you stare at the sun and it goes into your eyes here, the light, it starts to work with your other eye, your third eye. Now, I'm not trying to get all hocus and pocus if anyone thinks that's hocus and pocus. I'm trying to tell you about your pineal gland. Has anyone ever heard of your pineal gland? Your pineal gland, which is also known as the seat of your soul, is where you take in light too. But see, what happens is you can't necessarily take in bright color spectrum light. You're going to take in magnetic light. So you may be getting light on a radio level, or you may be getting it on a, what's the different wavelengths? Because we see invisible light, right? But there's a bigger color spectrum out here. There's a bigger spectrum of light that we have to perceive on a different level. And that's the real communication between the human body that has no calcification on the pineal and communicating with the sun. Are we following? So if you can go out here and sun gaze, you can get some of the calcium off of your pineal gland, and so you won't be a zombie. Right? Anybody following? But what happens if you have some cloud coverage out there? What happens if you have some metals that have been sprayed out there? Then the blockage of the sun, you're not really getting all of the nutrients or all of the rays that you're supposed to be getting from the light. There's a block there. Same as if you have plastics in your blood, or if you have some chemical that is capping your cells. Oh yeah, I'm talking today. If you got some caps on your cells, your telomeres, right? The little ends that are kind of like flashing. Like, we're live, here we go. If if your cells aren't working properly, then it can't process the electrons and the protons from the sun. So then the energy that you should be having should be like when you're out in the sunlight, should feel like you had a cup of coffee. Anybody sun gaze? Does anyone get out in nature and sun gaze? I'm looking for you. Hello there, Bertha. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Let's see who all on here. I just want to acknowledge some people. Haircutter, thank you for joining. Steve Thornton, thank you for joining. William Harris, Will, what's up? Good morning. It says it's showing the top 99. How you doing? I have some people over here. I have some people over here on YouTube. Good morning. Victorious Africa. I know that's right. Good. You know, I used to say Grand Rising all the time. I ain't even gonna hold you. I used to say Grand Rising like all the time. And then I had started talking to this man that was Hotep, and I swear to goodness, I said I will never say Grand Rising ever again. Sorry, I cracked myself up. He was an amazing man. He was very well read. He was very intellectual, very talented businessman and everything. But child, when I said Grand Rising, child, listen, he wore that Grand Rising out so bad. I said I will not say Grand Rising ever again. Grand Rising. That is the sun is up. Have you been sun gazing? Grand Rising, that means the sun is coming up. It's going to be a wonderful day. We're going to have our energy right. We're going to be in tune. We're going to be in alignment. We're going to be at a high frequency. We are doing everything that we are here to do, and we will not be denied. We don't have to be perfect, but we are striving for perfection. That's Grand Rising. Yeah. Have not. Okay. Well, that's what it means when you hear someone say Grand Rising. You may hear it more often over time. Now that it's put in your algorithm. But Grand Rising, yeah, it means have a wonderful day. So I said I won't say no more. But Victorious Africa made me think of Grand Rising. Wanaki, good morning. Good day to you. Got Rachel, Miss Fadair, T Mills. How you doing this morning? I was just going through this. Dr. Kiwanis, Justin, Reeby. Good morning. Good morning. Good day to you all. Yes. So, sun gazing. Moon gazing is a little bit different than sun gazing, but sun gazing is the entry level of getting your light body turned on. They don't want you to know this because they want you to be walking around aging, broke down, bad. They want you to be a zombie. They want you to not be aware of anything going on. You are aging. You are slowly dying without growth. That's being a zombie. You're aimlessly walking through life with no plan, nothing good going on. You're aging bad. Your food bad, the water bad, the medicine bad, the cosmetics, you think you're cute, but it's bad. The clothes you got going on, depending on what fabrics you got and depending on what colors you wearing, that's bad. You can't get out here and even drive or go without being in the midst of smog and fog. Yeah, they want zombie cells out here. People who are not living to their highest and fullest capacity for the longest they can. They don't want it. All right, so we talked about grounding and earthing, right? If you've been sticking with me, I've been on here almost an hour. I'm getting ready to shut it down. We're talking about zombie cells, and I'm telling you how to get rid of your zombie cells, or at least start activating your cells so that you can get energy flowing on a micro circulatory level, okay? Hit me in the DMs if you want to know more about how to get your blood clean, how to do that on a cellular level, okay? So we talked about grounding and earthing. Let me add one more thing. I may even start. I said if I make it through this TikTok shutdown, I'm gonna start selling earthen mats, and I think that's also what I might be doing too. Doing some earthen mats because everyone needs to get their frequency right. Okay. So you're an electromagnetic being. If you get out here in earth and ground, remember that your left is your receptor and your right is your what's the word? So you receive and then you basically give, you release, you send off. That's your right. So that's your system. Okay. Then you want to make sure that you are out here definitely sun gazing, right? We talked about that. Then what else we talked about? Your food. Make sure you are eating foods in its most natural state or closest to its most natural state. Talking about healing ourselves. Oh, let's talk about the water. Oh, let's talk about the water. I was not going to get off of here without talking about water. You was going to let me go without talking about water, one of the most essential parts of life. We are made up of approximately anywhere between 68 to 78% water. And depending on how much water you have in your body, will let you know how functional you really are and can stay in a homeostasis state. Now, if you don't know what homeostasis is when your body is on a regulatory system and it's stable. Your body is always keeping itself stable. However, if you're dehydrated, your body cannot be stable. That means your kidneys won't be functioning well, your liver, your brain, your gut, nothing functions at a stable baseline, right? Unless you're hydrated. But what happens if you're drinking water that doesn't hydrate you? How you doing? I see you guys here. I see y'all here. Okay. I'm going to stay focused because I only got a few more minutes. They're going to cut me off. So, as a massage therapist, I have the privilege of meeting very different kinds of people. Now, I was doing this beforehand, but I really got good and stuck to it after this conversation that I had with a soldier. Well, I wouldn't even call him a soldier. He was an officer, a high-ranking officer. And so I had offered him a cup of water after his massage, which I offer everyone a cup of water. That's that's like a standard massage practice whenever anyone comes out after a massage, because you have so much blood circulating at the time. You don't want them to get dehydrated after massage and just happen to pass out. That's the last thing you want as a massage therapist. So the first thing you want to introduce to someone walking out of their session is water, right? And so I offered this officer a cup of water, and he says, "No, I don't drink that kind of water." And it took me back for a second because, most people do, right? Most people take it and they gulp it down and then they say, "Oh, can I have another cup of water?" Well, have you ever drank water and you felt dehydrated and you really didn't get any benefit to drinking that water? Well, it doesn't have enough electrolytes in it. It's dead water. Most of us are drinking dead water. Someone talk about, can we acknowledge that? Can I get a 1 in the comment if you've ever heard that you're drinking dead water and that you need to drink specific types of water? Have you ever heard that you were supposed to drink specific types of water, or you were supposed to be, is that making sense? Okay, all right. So first of all, let's just talk about some of the most basic waters that we should be drinking and some of the waters we should not be drinking. There's waters that we should be drinking for specific reasons, but we won't go into all the types of water and all the specific types of water. But they're the main waters that you should be drinking. We're going to stay on that so we can heal today, right? So the main water that you should be drinking is 1, spring water. And if you can get spring water in a glass bottle versus a plastic bottle, that's better. If you can get spring water from its natural source, that's better than buying it out of a store. Okay, so spring water is the best water if you just need to get some water and get some hydration to you. Go get some spring water. Do not get the alkaline. Do not get the 9.5 just because it says it on there. Distilled, reverse osmosis water. We're not talking about all that. We're talking about, let's say it says, I've heard that tap water doesn't have enough electrolytes, so we should be drinking bottled water. Okay, I started this out talking about the bottled water, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the bottled water. Now, I do have the guilty pleasure. I do have my Starbucks cup. It just helps me stay hydrated. I should not be drinking it out of a plastic bottle. I shouldn't be, but we ain't going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about what type of water. I'm going to tell you what I got in here. So anyway, with the water, it should be spring water. Spring water is the closest living water that you can get that's been bottled. You need living water. So we're going to talk about spring water. Spring water is exactly like it sounds. It came from a spring. It came from a running source. It did not come from a steamed vase that has been dripping vapors and then they bottled it. Okay? So if you can get water, even if you're in the gas station and you need to get some water, the first water you should look for is spring water. The next best water, or the best water even considering spring water, is you need to get some living water. So living water is basically fruit or vegetable juice. This is what he told me. He says, if I have to drink water or if I feel dehydrated, I would rather go get a Gatorade or a Pedialyte than drink your water. And I was like, and he was trying to say that as a diss, and I missed it. He said, I'd rather go drink Gatorade or Pedialyte. But he says, I only drink fruit water. So fruit water is coconut water, watermelon water, or any high content water sourced fruit or vegetable. Apples, oranges, limes even. You get so much of it and put it in your water. Another thing you can do, and I may even come back live tomorrow and show you, if you have to get water that's been in a bottle, how to activate it. You put salt in the water. It's recommended that you do Celtic or sea salt. Sea salt in your water. You have a glass, and you have two glasses. You pour your water in one glass, you put the salt in there, and then you do like this. You got a cup, you pour the water in one cup. And you go back and forth for like 2 minutes with the salt in the water. You're going to turn the water back on. The salt activates it and put electrolytes back in it. The moving it back and forth, it's so that it changes the vibration and the frequency of the water. And you want it in glass, you don't want it in plastic. That's so you can activate your water so that when you drink the water, it actually hydrates your body, and then it gives messages back to those cells that have compromised telomeres. Are we following? Telomeres, again, those are the end caps on your DNA and on your cells. This part of your cells that send and receive messages, the end caps of the parts that send and receive messages, they have telomeres on them. Telomeres are what shoots off the message or sucks in a message. That's why you can have inspired thoughts. That's why you can have your body go into spontaneous healing or spontaneous sickness. It's the telomeres. Your body's on a micro scale, sending and receiving messages all day. Even when you're asleep, your body is sending and receiving messages. But if you're compromised, you got zombie cells. That means the telomeres, they're aged, they're damaged. If you're drinking water that has life to it, you're hydrating those cells, you're bringing life back to it so it can send and receive well. Those are things that you can do. spring water, fruit and vegetable water, or you can turn your water back on yourself. You can turn the life on back in your water yourself by adding in sea salt, which preferably is Celtic, Celtic, I believe, Celtic, sea salt. Some people say, what about the Himalayan? I've heard a lot about the Himalayan. I am not an expert. I am not a doctor. I am not a scientist in that way. I've heard a lot about the Himalayan sea salt. I heard you want to be careful with it because some of that salt is basically salt that has been mined and it has been basically had a pink dye or pink covering on it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's actual pink Himalayan salt. It just has this coloring on it. So you have to be kind of careful with the Himalayan salt. So that's just what I heard about Himalayan salt. I don't use it often. I actually use the Celtic or Mediterranean salt. Okay? But that's how you turn your water back to life, living water. You get 2 glass cups. You pour water in it, whether you get it from a water bottle. I do not suggest you drink the tap water. Again, they slide it by you. If you're a homeowner, if you're a renter, you don't even know this information. Every homeowner, they typically get a letter from their water department once a year where the water has been tested, and they tell you what's in the water, and they will tell you when you should not be drinking water from the tap. They tell you. They tell you what chemicals are in there and what chemicals do to your body, what they do. And they tell you why you shouldn't be drinking it. If you're a homeowner, you typically see that paper once a year from your water department in your water bill. If you're a renter and you don't own the home, you typically do not see that particular part of the notice. We got some homeowners that know what I'm talking about. So if you don't know to not be drinking some of this water, sorry, I'm over here on TikTok. You know, TikTok has a little banner that goes across the top of the screen here. If you are drinking water that you shouldn't be drinking because you didn't get the notice, you're going to be a zombie walking around these parts. Sorry, I know I look crazy on YouTube, but there's this on top of my head here. Drinking the wrong water will have you out here being a zombie. It will have you aging and breaking down in a way you didn't know you was going to age and break down. Now, how can you get this? We're going to go deeper. But I'm going to wrap this up for a while. I might go back live later. Y'all made your girl feel welcomed. Real welcomed. I haven't been live in a while. You made your girl feel welcome back at home. How you doing? I'm usually outdoors walking. Let me show y'all. It is a nasty little, I don't know if you can see this. I'm in Kansas, y'all. I'm a Mississippi girl at heart, but I live in Kansas. YouTube, I'm going to show you. We got snow out here. So I'm in the office today. Y'all see all this snow? It's cold. I'm going to get y'all over there to TikTok. Y'all can see. Yeah. Today's temperature is cold as hell. Usually it tells me right up front. Temp in Salina, Kansas. It is currently 10 degrees. It is 10 degrees. It's cold. Yes, they won. So my dad is a Kansas City Chiefs fanatic. Okay, let me tell you, I didn't even watch the game. What night was that? Was it Thursday night, Friday night, whatever night that was, Saturday night, whatever night it was? Let me tell you how I knew the Kansas City Chiefs won. If you are anyone that lives in Kansas, and tell me if anybody on here from Kansas, tell me if I'm wrong. You know the Chiefs won whether you watched the game or not because someone popped fireworks after the game. I don't even live in Kansas City. And after the game, after every single Chiefs game, if the Chiefs win, there are fireworks that go off. Kansas City Chiefs fans are a different type of fans. That's why they have this winning streak that they have. There is an energy that goes directly to the Kansas City Chiefs Arrowhead Stadium where people are absolutely, they focus, they live, they are insanely obsessed with the Kansas City Chiefs. So my dad again is a diehard fan. Our household is basically going to go crazy another year in a row. Okay, another year in a row. I watch because my siblings are there, my parents are there. If I was anywhere else, I wouldn't understand. But being that I live in Kansas, the Kansas City Chiefs, they are a force to be reckoned with. And Mahomes is that guy. Now, I know this is a little off subject, but I don't know what Taylor Swift did to Travis Kelce, but child, his hair right now, I'm not feeling it. That mustache, I'm not feeling it. That's a handsome man. And to be walking around here looking like a Timu Tom Sawyer, not Tom Sawyer. What is that man named? That man's Tom Selleck, child. He is a Timu Tom Selleck. Listen, Taylor, I don't know what he, I don't know what he found, but somewhere in there, he looked like a Timu Tom Selleck to me. And I'm just struggling because that man is very handsome for a, I don't know. He looked like just a regular guy, but yes, child, he looked like a Timu Tom Selleck. I can't say it any other way. Like, you so excited for your package to get there, but then when you see it, you be like, oh, that's not what I thought it was. Yes, from far away, he looked like like Tom Selleck. He looks like he has that distinguished suave. But when you start really looking at the pictures and stuff, you just be like, he ain't gotta look like that, because that's a handsome man. But people do switch up. It goes to show people do change their frequency, their vibration, and their energy based off of who they are in contact with, what they are in proximity to. And he just so happens to be more an aesthetically pleasing look to Taylor Swift than he was an aesthetically pleasing look to that young lady that he was with, that black girl. Because he was doing them bust down fades when he was with the black girl. Now I don't know who his barber is. But them haircuts is not doing it for me. Like, it ain't my man. I got a good man. I ain't gonna be, but that's a nice looking man. Anywho, I'm gonna get it off of here. I'm talking about zombie cells, and then we then got to talking about Travis Kelce, because he's the Timu Tom Selleck to me. So yeah. Anybody got any questions? I'm gonna get up off of here. I will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. I was just a little late starting today. I know. Black girl D effect. Listen, and it's not just white men who kind of lose their light and zhuzh when we leave them alone like that. Now, I ain't never really dated a white man. Let me put that disclaimer on there. I have truly loved and been appreciated by a black man. But when black women have been with Caucasian men or white men, same with Eve and her husband. If Eve ever leave her husband, and I'm not saying that they will, and I'm not saying that she should, I ain't got nothing to do with that. But if she ever leaves that man alone, that man will look so rough. That man is going to look so broke down, because the black girl effect is real. But you got to also remember the flip side of that is you take on their energy too. So be mindful. Not a question, but I will be checking more on the water topic and the gazing topic. Definitely do so. So I had a notification. Okay. So with the water topic, definitely take in water that is living. And the living water, you can activate water yourself between the electrolytes from the salt, or with, even for instance, you can go get key limes. Key limes have something in it. I don't even know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not even going to lie to you. You can go look this up yourself. Key limes have a frequency to it that when you add it to spring water, it actually really ignites the water. It really activates it. So add key limes to your spring water as well. That will give you a hydration, and it will also turn the lights on the end of those telomeres. I don't know how it works, but that is something I do know. Same with coconut water. Coconut water can do that as well. I actually drink coconut water every single day. I drink coconut water more than I drink regular water. And I do very well. So, on the sun gazing, again, it is the rule of thumb. Don't ever look at the sun when it's past 33 degrees. And you'll know when it's past 33 degrees because it'll go from the sun is just emitting lots of light to the sun is now emitting lots of heat. Okay? That's the difference. The sun will go from emitting light codes to then it goes into emitting thermal codes. And you don't want to be staring at the sun when it's giving thermal energy. You want to be staring at the sun when it's giving light energy. Okay? We'll get more into that. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining me. We're going to get deeper into this. If you have any questions, I will get my stuff together too. But if you have any more questions, go ahead and drop them because I'm answering them. Would you trust coconut water though? Because it comes in a package. I heard it's healthy, but I only want it if it's straight from the coconut. So here's the thing. You can go get the coconut. You can go get the baby coconut, or you can go get a mature coconut. Preferably you get the coconut that is made for drinking the water, which is the baby coconut. But you can go to the grocery store if you have one close to you and do it yourself. The thing about it is it's so expensive that most people cannot make coconut water themselves and keep up enough of it without blowing a bag. Okay? It's expensive if you keep buying baby coconuts if you're not in an area where coconuts is your natural like fruit. It's part of your natural environment. So I would have to say you're going to have to trust something to a degree if you're going to drink coconut water on a regular basis. Now, the coconut water that I choose to drink is I'm only going to drink it if it's out of the carton, right? I don't drink it if it's in the bottle and it says it's 90% juice and then the rest of it is fillers. I don't drink any of that. It has to say it's 100% coconut water. It has to say 100%. I don't want to do 99. I don't want to do 95 and some change. I don't want to do 90. I don't want to do 80. If it doesn't say 100% coconut water, I won't drink it. I'm not going to drink it for that reason. I'll put it like that. Then, with that also being said, I drink the cold press. The cold press is, well, I drink all of them, really. I drink the cold press, I drink the pineapple, and then I drink the other one. And I do drink it from the Zeta. I drink it from, I have bottles around. I drink pretty much any brand, but it has to say 100% coconut water, right? And then I prefer the cold press. The cold press is because then it hasn't been heated up and it doesn't lose its micronutrients and its phytonutrients. So it's a plant and it's pulled water from out of the ground. So it has phytonutrients. And so you don't want it to be compromised because they had to heat it up to get the bacteria or any of the, like, whatever they have in their factories, whether it's came in contact with some nuts or came in contact with something. They don't need to heat it up to kill off anything. They don't have to sanitize it or whatever the word is. So I prefer cold press, but I'll drink the coconut waters out of the cartons if that's what's available. I'm not going to drink any bottled water. I'm not going to drink anything that doesn't really say spring water. And then if I'm extremely dehydrated, which I'm usually never really dehydrated, I used to be back in the day. Oh my gosh, back in the day, I used to have so many kidney issues because I wasn't drinking enough water and I was drinking a lot of teas. But if you drink as much living water as possible, you should never be dehydrated, and your cells should always be very fluid and very healthy and light. All right, Jake Jones, thank you for joining today. So I'm just going to acknowledge everyone that joined over here on TikTok, and then I'm going to get up off here. Everybody's leaving. Never mind. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining me today. I will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm going to talk more about we building. We getting ready to launch. So I'll talk more about new extracts. If you are wanting to know more about new extracts products, the iHercules, go ahead and drop a DM. I will share information with you if you're interested in learning more. I'm here. So talk to you later. Thank you for joining. Peace.